Often, IT leaders are faced with the even more challenging situation. If there's disagreement between growth-oriented leaders in sales or marketing or product, and then risk-averse leaders in finance and operations giving conflicting strategies and giving conflicting orders, and that results in IT being asked to support those online growth initiatives, but at the same time, minimizing investment and reducing their operational costs. And the unprecedented changes that we've seen in the nature of work and commerce over the past couple of years that have caused a uniquely challenging economic situation in terms of trying to forecast what's going to happen next. And as a result, a particularly high level of risk for decision makers, both business and IT. So we're going to overview the current challenges. We're going to look at some of the underlying factors that are driving these challenges and discuss how a modern iPaaS like Celigo can help you to manage these challenges. So first, kind of look at the challenges. We at Celigo were able to participate in an event called the Midsize Enterprise Summit that's run by the Channel Company and the Gartner Mid-Enterprise Group. And Mike Cizik, who is the lead analyst for that Midsize Enterprise Group at Gartner, he presented these top threats and challenges. They're actually based on the survey of the groups that attend these events. And we're going to focus on the top 4. And those are, and let me make my screen move a little faster. They are the talent crunch, that, being able to hire, retain, and manage existing talent, the economic uncertainty that we're, kind of focused on here, transformation and modernization, which is still a big driver, and then, hey, growth, retention, and profitability. That's what businesses are there for. So, Nick, is this what you're hearing from our customers?
Absolutely, Dave. I'm definitely seeing a number of cases where 1 and 4 have been just frontline conversations in many of the meetings I've been taking in the last couple of weeks. Certainly starting to see a lot of around the retention and profitability and looking at ways that they're trying to cut costs around their IT spend. So yeah, these are frontline.
And Jeremy, is this what you're experiencing at Modus?
Certainly, yeah. Talent's always been an issue, and ever since spring of 2020 and COVID, that changed a lot of things. But we persevered through that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So let's look at some really cool data to help reinforce, what we've seen, and let's, make sure that that's what other folks have seen. So traditionally, digital transformation requires, and any initiatives require, expensive and scarce IT specialists, and that limits the number and reduces the scope of projects that IT can deliver at any time, right? We've always got a backlog, we've got a pipeline of projects. And there was a recent article in TechTarget saying that 70% of digital leaders globally felt they can't keep up with these initiatives because of a lack of skilled workers. They found on average, they're losing about 11% of their team every year because staff is looking for more higher salaries and more money. And while those layoffs at major technology companies create headlines, the skilled technologists at those companies represent a very small percentage of the people who are laid off. In fact, New York Times recently reported the unemployment rate in tech occupations, as opposed to the technology sector, is 1.5% compared with 3.4% for all workers, which is incredibly low for both. So, the IT remains tight. And what's really there is one thing that was a really key stat is the average salary increase for developers who stayed with their companies is 5%. The average salary increase for those who switch, as we see up there, is 25%. So that retention challenge is immense. And while IT spending is expected to grow this year over last year, that growth is going to be slower. Gartner originally projected IT spending of 5.1% and basically cut that in half. Any thoughts on that, Nick?
No, I mean, Dave, you're hitting on a really salient point. And we were kind of talking about this in some of the conversations I've been having thus far. I'm certainly seeing a lot more scrutiny in terms of how organizations are bringing software into the piece. But I'm also seeing, as you kind of highlight here, that a lot of the ways that organizations are looking to actually find budget to drive new initiatives is through, vendor consolidation and license optimization. And we're certainly seeing that across the board with both customers and analysts as this being one of the top 3 ways that they're doing it. which creates some really interesting challenges when you have technology that isn't properly integrated, because you're not necessarily gaining all the value that you expected. So when it comes time to look at a cost optimization, you might be cutting things that could actually help you, right? So cutting your nose to save your foot, that kind of thing.
I like that. So, transformation, change, and modernization is still moving forward. 85% of CEOs are looking to increase their investment in digital technology last year over this year, but execution is hard. So Boston Consulting Group had a report that 94% of companies have these major aspirations to deliver substantial impact from digital transformation, but only 70% of those will meet their objective, or 70% will fail to meet those objectives. And is that similar to what you're hearing, Nick?
Yeah. I mean, I would say certainly from an IT perspective, and in terms of retention, or sorry, we're in the transfer. I was one slide ahead. In terms of transformation, yes. More and more organizations, I mean, I think the value of digital transformation has been demonstrated time and time again, right? We see the likes of, I hate to say like Blockbuster, I hear they're coming back, but Blockbuster versus Netflix, a lot of these, Barnes & Noble versus Amazon, we see this time and time again, where when you're able to use the technology and align it with people and process in such a way that it can actually drive meaningful change, the benefits are just exponential. So, certainly from what we're seeing from these organizations, and when they're picking up these initiatives, especially when it comes to integration, there's a lot of value that can be associated by doing these effectively.
And finally, growth, retention, and profitability. And I made these stats up, but I don't need a survey to know that it's true, right? Everybody wishes they could focus on this, and they wish they could focus all of their time on this. But Jeremy, you and your team have been successful in driving growth and being able to concentrate on that, being able to drive growth in terms of time. So in terms of kind of today's theme, what's been a key factor for you?
For us, it's a lot like having better data and access to that data, and being able to carry out the analysis we need, make sure that we're focusing on company decisions that take better care of our customers.
And also, what about process automation? And you're focused on integration for sure. Does that contribute as well?
Oh, definitely. Yep. We've been able to improve a lot of processes just from having that data available and knowing where those gaps are, where we can improve.